Why can't you find homeless people in China? It is a well-known fact that homelessness is a significant problem in American society. Every administration strives to tackle this issue, yet it only seems to be getting worse in recent years. If you visit big cities like San Francisco, LA, Boston, Phoenix, Seattle, you see numerous homeless people living on the streets. In fact, California is increasingly becoming a state where homelessness is rampant. The serious consequences of homelessness lead to various social problems, such as crime, including robbery, theft, drug addiction, assault, prostitution, and others. It is a challenging social problem to solve in the US, especially during periods of economic recession and pandemic. However, if you visit China, you will notice that it is difficult to find a homeless person. Are these individuals hiding somewhere else? How did China manage to keep its cities so clean with clean bus stations, clean metros, and no graffiti? There are three reasons why it's challenging to find homeless people in China. The majority of the Chinese citizens own land and a house in the countryside. In 1949, following the Communist Party of China's takeover of the mainland, the government launched a land revolution aimed at redistributing wealth from the rich to the others. As a result, capitalists lost their companies and landowners lost their properties and lands. Agricultural land was redistributed to farmers. But about 7 years later, in 1956, the government took back all farmer land and prohibited any private ownership. Even growing a few vegetables in one's own home is illegal and punishable. This resulted in the poorest stage in China's long history, and the famine of the 1960s killed between 10 million to 30 million people. After Chairman Mao's death in 1978, General Secretary Deng Xiaoping initiated land redistribution to every farmer again, allowing them to cultivate their own land, which led to a reduction in hunger. This policy continues to this day. From 1949 to around 2000, the Chinese population was divided into two main categories, the worker class and the farmer class. The worker class, which accounted for approximately 10% of China's population, included factory workers, soldiers, teachers, government workers, and anyone permitted to live in the city. The government guaranteed their jobs, food, and housing, providing about 30 pounds of rice per month, and distributing apartments about 10 square meters for each family. The restroom facilities are communal, with one on each floor, but usually there are no kitchen facilities available. Instead, they have set up small fire ovens in the corridors for cooking basic meals. The second category, farmer class, constituted about 90% of China's population, and these farmers work on the land using traditional tools such as hoes, plows, and cows. They lived in mass poverty, and their produce should be submitted to the government for redistribution. Some of it will be sent to the city to feed the worker class. In recent years, some modern agricultural machines have replaced the antiquated hoes, and the production process has advanced somewhat. Besides worker class and farmer class, and there still exists the third class before 1980. Capitalist landlords, rich farmers, anti-revolutionaries, bad guys, and right-wing individuals who were required to do the hardest farm work and receive weakening brainwashing classes. They and their family are usually discriminated against, ridiculed, even criticized and beaten. After Deng Xiaoping introduced reforms and an open-door policy in the 1980s, private companies and international companies started to set up factories in China, and many farmers moved to cities to find a job. However, they did not abandon their land and houses, which they called their old home at the rural countryside. The children received education at their old home. The family members cultivated the land at the old home. These farmers who worked in the factories were known as farmer workers. They would renovate their houses with the money earned in the city. They would return to their old home every Chinese New Year Spring Festival for family reunions, chatting with old neighbors and friends, and honoring their ancestors. After the festival, they would return to the city to resume work. Therefore, if a farmer worker lost his job in the city, he could return to his old home, hold a hoe, and became an original farmer, raising pigs and hens for meat and eggs, and cultivating vegetables and rice in the fields like the ancient Chinese several hundred years ago. Since he has a house in his old home, he would never become homeless in the city. This is the primary reason why homelessness is not an issue in China. China has a long history of being a traditional agricultural country, which has instilled a deep love and attachment to the land in Chinese people. They prefer settling down in one place and do not have a camping culture. Even if a farmer worker loses his job in the city, he would choose to return to his old home rather than living on the street in a city. Camping in a city is prohibited in China. Camping is prohibited because the government wants to maintain cleanliness, order, and prevent potential crimes or mass assembly. Additionally, there is no provision of free food or free accommodation for anyone, making it impossible for anyone to survive as a homeless person in the city. Who are the real homeless persons in China? While homelessness is real in China, there are still some homeless individuals in Chinese cities. Almost all of them suffer from mental disorders, and the government quickly intervenes to locate their old homes and contact government officials of the countryside to arrange for their return. Could the US government solve the homeless problem by distributing a piece of land to each homeless person as China? The answer is definitely no. While there is plenty of land available in the US, many homeless people may not want to leave the city and become farmers using basic tools such as hoes. They may prefer the convenience of free food provided in the city, and most importantly, they lack social connections in rural areas. This situation is quite different from that in China. So, distributing land to homeless individuals would not be an effective solution.